The Podocast. Turn it up. The Podocast. Turn it up. It's the Podocast. 8 years on the scene. Scott on the mic, Bella running the dream. 10 in the chat, but they family feel me. Studio glowing, crypto keep it real G. La 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 la, live every night. Turntable scratching, we taking flight. La 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 la, live every night. Turntable scratching, we taking flight. I'm Scott, host with the most in the frame. Bella on the boards, producing the flame. 1,000 vids deep, multicam pristine. From a webcam start to a Hollywood screen. Bearable, we break it with the grin. 10 viewers strong, yo, that's Ken. This the Podocast. 8 years on the scene. Scott on the mic, Bella running the dream. 10 in the chat, but they family feel me. Studio glowing, crypto keep it real G. La 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 la, live every night. Turntable scratching, we taking flight. La 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 la, live every night. Turntable scratching, we taking flight. Bella in the cut, mixing beats like a chef. Green screen galaxy, LEDs never left. From Bitcoin pizza to NFT flex, we laugh through the dips, cash and respect. 8 years grinding, still smiling on cam. Our 10, they the reason we give a damn. 10 hearts in the live, but they louder than a mill. Every GG in the chat give us chills. Scott say what's good, Bella hit the switch. Crypto never sleeps, neither does the click. This the Podocast. 8 years on the scene. Scott on the mic, Bella running the dream. 10 in the chat, but they family feel me. Studio glowing, crypto keep it real G. La 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 la, live every night. Turntable scratching, we taking flight. La 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 la, live every night. Turntable scratching, we taking flight. La 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 la, live every night. Turn it up, fam, 8 more, let's go. La 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 la, live every night. The Podocast. See you in the live. See you in the live. The Podocast. See you in the live.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kids, welcome back to the dark side, the nostalgic side of the podcast. And thank you. Podcast, your home for rat. You know what? I ain't doing that tonight, Bell. I'm not going to monologue it. I've said that. It's kind of funny. That's what the whole stream is about. I found a box, really old, dusty box out here in my studio, and I hadn't looked through that thing for a very long time. But I actually broke it out and opened it. I wasn't sure what it was. I was like, it's one of those. I'm trying to clear some room, and I was like, do I need to keep this? So I opened it up and took a look at it, and there was still something in there. I haven't plugged it in yet, but there was still something in there that made a wave of nostalgia just completely roll across me. And I'm eager. I'm afraid it's going to blow up when I plug it in, but I'm eager to see if the damn thing still works. And that's pretty much why we're doing this throwback kind of nostalgic stream, and to educate. We're here to educate very young Braden. I see Fish out there. I see Political. I see Sofa Ninja. These are all people approximately my age, so they're going to back me up on a lot of this stuff and educate the child. All right, that's our job. He's our employee, and we need to.
Political's trying, but he's also apparently the kid wants Political banned because he said a sentence in French.
Okay, I'm going to rule
Not
on that
gonna
right.
happen.
I'm going to rule on that right now, Braden. No. All right, I made the ruling there. All right. That ain't gonna happen, man. Come on. Jeff and me worked together for years, dude. He ain't going nowhere. But what I found, I'll get to that. I have to do a little bit of an Occam's razor thing here, and believe it or not, this is based on a post that New Type put up on the podcast Discord, and I found it a little bit interesting. And this was in relation to Zcash and privacy, the rise of privacy, and the stall out and the correction of Bitcoin. And he actually did bring up a very good point, but I always go Occam's razor, and Occam's razor is the simplest explanation tends to be the most correct. And here's where I'm basing this on. Everybody on crypto Twitter, up and down the board, basically anybody say Bitcoin's going to go up, going to go to 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. It's going to change the entire planet. Yeah. So banks are buying, ETFs are buying, Michael Saylor's buying, Kathy Woods is buying, everybody's buying Bitcoin, but the price keeps going down. So one of two things is happening here. Either we have an absolute mass hysteria or a mass hypnosis on people just failing to believe their eyes. Because if everybody's buying it, then it cannot possibly mathematically go down. This is fact. 100% fact. Therefore, this is my Occam's razor. If it's going down, not everybody's buying it. Not everybody's buying it, and therefore we're in kind of got the Nash equilibrium thing going on here. And that worked great. Pumped it up to 120, 125, I don't know, whatever the all-time high was. And then it bled off 25% of its value since then. Therefore, if the math works, and I do believe that the math works, it's not real difficult math in this case. If everybody's buying and the price is going down, either the market is being manipulated or not everybody's buying. Now, I tend to default to the easiest explanation, and that's not everybody is buying. Now, I understand New Type's point on there, because he was like, maybe it's all starting to roll over to like Zcash and stuff like that. Maybe it is. Maybe. I don't know, bro. I'm not going to dig that much into it. But I also like the point that he made there, in that crypto used to be about the Guy Fawkes mask. All right. It used to be about chaos. It used to be about all of the other, down with the system rebellion stuff. And we sold that out years ago. All right. We sold all of that out years ago. Now, everything is tied back to ETFs, tied back to the fiat dollar, tied back to treasury bills, because that's the only place that real yield is going to come from, because there's effectively nothing out here in the crypto world that anybody's using meaningfully. Lots of bots, lots of transactions. We can show it all day. Oh, look at all these. Yeah. But you're full of shit and you know it. All right. It is a same group of people playing poker at the same table endlessly and paying the rake. And eventually, all it needs is time. And the casino will get every goddamn dollar. The rake never loses, ever. And in this case, it's probably going to be the same. So we've gotten away from our ethos completely. Maybe ZK, maybe Zcash, something like that. Maybe that's pumping up. But I'm also going to go Occam's razor on that as well. It's pumping because it's pumping, because more people are buying than selling. But that's going to hit a plateau. And when it does, it's going to correct. And then it'll correct more. Then it'll correct more. And then everybody's out of ideas. So that's pretty much the only crypto discussion I want to have on this tonight. I'm a huge fan of ethos. I believe in it all the way up and down. If you've ever watched this show over 8 years that me and Bella have been out here doing it, I've stuck to my guns consistently. I might change my opinion based on market dynamics and what I'm seeing and how things are flowing. I'm a very pragmatic investor, but I've never buckled on my ethos. And I said when those ETFs came in that crypto just lost its soul. And if you don't believe us, we have videos where I said that very thing. So there could be some right in it, bro. New Type, there could be. But my gut is telling me that it's just swirling the drain. That's it, man. It started as the revolution, but it was more of a proletariat bourgeoisie kind of revolution. And at the anytime these are resolved, the leaders of the proletariat just simply become the new bourgeoisie, and all the other rebellions out there. Now you're just useful idiots, and that's kind of my interpretation of all of this. I still don't see it. I've never seen it with Bitcoin. I've never gotten it. yeah, so I'm just going to kind of leave it there. But I do want to get to the box, unless we have any question that came in right now, Bell, before I start getting nostalgic, because we're going to pivot wildly right now, and I don't want to leave anybody hanging, and I don't want to roll back that far. So do we got anything, or can I just carry on? You're muted. Second time.
No, that was the first time tonight. But okay, anyway.
You did it before we.
So-
Okay, it's the first time. You're right.
All right, so Political is apparently kind of shooting barbs at Braden, asking, okay, would you rather Scott and I speak Hogan to one another? We were both in Japan for a while.
Oh, we can do that. We can speak Klingon. Do you want to do Klingon? Huh? Nersh. No, we can do Klingon too. I don't know. Braden, that was from a show called The Star Trek. All right, called The Star Trek. It was a thing. All right, trust me, it was a thing. I know that your generation doesn't have the Star Trek, but ours did, and it was a big deal. All right, I've always identified as Romulan for what it's worth, Bell. And when I play Starfleet, when I play Star Trek Online, I am a Romulan admiral. So, but we could do Klingon. We could do whatever makes you comfortable, Braden. And while you're waiting, Google The Star Trek. Google The Star Trek, and you're gonna get a little bit of insight in this. Picard over Kirk, but Next Generation. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go Kirk over Picard, but Next Generation over original series. I will be that guy. All right. I know the original the original series was like Bitcoin before the ETFs. The stories were good. It was driving. It was a little hokey. The effects weren't real good. Not everything worked every single time. But it was more, about the ethos. And Next Generation is like crypto with the ETFs. The effects were better. The stories were better, or the stories were different, and it ran an awful lot, much, much longer. So, but I'm never going to pick. I'll always pick Shatner over Picard. I will. I'm never. That's it, man. Kirk over Picard. Period. I'll die on that hill. Anyway, carry on, Bill.
But yeah, okay. So those two did wind up starting to speak Japanese back and forth in chat.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I'm out. If they've asked a question there, because there's not really good translation software for Japanese, I'm lost.
No, but I bet that AI platform that we were looking at, that text to, or voice to text, I bet it could translate that on the fly for you. I bet it could. I bet if we plugged it in and had it running up there, I bet it'll translate it all the way coming across, including Klingon. And it'll probably respond in Klingon, so I could type in English and it'll spit Klingon out. I bet it'll.
You know what? I'm going to give Star Trek major props for something, and it is not very often talked about. They have talked about more technology that is actually in use today than any other series you can imagine.
Well, yeah. And
they predicted it coming.
And yes, and I will absolutely, I will give you credit on that one. But some of the more obvious, I mean, look, they were using cell phones before there was such a thing as cell phone. Kirk to big up. They were using cell phones a long, long time ago. So yes, I'll give you that one. But you know what? Dick Tracy, way back in the day, had video and voice right there on his watch. And I guarantee you somebody out here in this audience, even though it's a small audience, is wearing an Apple Watch right now that will do the exact same goddamn thing. It kind of makes it easy from a tech standpoint, because everything you want to invent has already been dreamt up. All you got to do is
just watch Star Trek.
Yeah, or read Dick Tracy, or read Iron Man novels, or comics or anything like that. Everything that you really want, it's already been out there. All you got to do is build it now. All right, and building it's the easy part, apparently, at least for Apple Watches.
The company that actually builds data, they're gonna sell out in a heartbeat. Just saying, they are not gonna be able to keep him in stock.
No, probably not. All right, yeah, and I know, because I've been looking at all those goddamn robots that are coming out now. All of these things up and down the board.
I know.
I guarantee you there's going to be an Optimus robot walking back and forth across this studio, and he's going to have one goal. When I throw something on the floor, he's going to go pick it up and put it in the trash, because I want to emasculate my robot. I mean, day one, I want to make sure that he knows that he's my bitch. And I want to make crystal clear. So you're going to see a Optimus robot that's going to be cruising back and forth here, just picking up little bits of paper that I throw on the floor and apologizing, looking at the camera and apologizing every single time he crosses the frame. He's going to say, "I'm sorry," and he's going to carry on. I might even give him, I think I'll give him a female voice, a female British voice. I think that's funny. "I'm so sorry," or, "Oh God," like that, like "fresh in your tea, governor," like one of those crazy hinky ones that you see on Benny Hill and stuff. I'll give it that voice.
Make him, you know what? Make him sound like Rosie from the Jetsons.
Oh, I don't want that. I want one of those crazy, crazy English bar wenches or waitresses that are over there in their pubs, that just have that crazy with the bad teeth and the totally over the top voice. That's what I want. That's what I want. And I'm just gonna sit here and throw shit, and you're just gonna watch it. Weep, weep, weep. Just go back across.
You've been watching Sweeney Todd again, haven't you?
I have not, but no, that's what I want, and I'm willing to pay for it. And I want that robot to just know that it's my bitch. Period. I mean, that's it. I'm gonna make it. I don't care. I know AI is gonna rise up. I know it's gonna kill all of us, but I want to give it a reason. I don't want to be at the end of it, Belle. When I'm standing over and I'm like on my knees and my robot is walking back and forth across me like Negan, carrying the baseball bat with the barbed wire, deciding which one of us is going to die first. I want to make sure that it's me. All right, because I don't want to live in that world, but I want to give him a reason. I want him to know, "Oh, are you peeing your pants now?" All right, because you're about to. I was like, "Oh, no, I know. I'm well aware of it. I've got it coming, man." So, I just want to make sure. I don't want it to be an accident. That's the thing. I don't want to say, "Oh, the AI accidentally killed Scott." It's like, no, Scott had it coming. Scott had it coming. And I want to make sure that that's well documented. So that's
and
it.
while it's murdering you, it's gonna play Cell Block Tango.
Oh, I don't know what it'll play, but it'll probably be something like that. Or it'll be playing that song by Rebecca Black. It'll play Friday just on a loop, and I have to listen to that as I'm getting my head smashed in. It's Friday, Friday. That's such a bad song. I mean, it's just awful. But you know what? I still admire Rebecca Black. She could have pulled that song down off from YouTube. She could have did it anytime she wanted, but she didn't. She didn't. She faced it, and she said, "Yeah, I don't give a shit. I got a song. What do you got?" How could I not admire that? I mean, hundreds of millions of views on this thing, and she's just like, "Yeah, but I got
out with a sequel."
Okay, I'm sure it's equal. It's probably better. Anything would be better than that.
You've made me listen to that.
It is.
You've made me listen to the sequel.
That song was so vapid. Anything is going to be a wild, wild improvement over that. And Braden, you've never heard the song, have you, little man? You've never heard the song. It's called Friday by Rebecca Black. Look it up, or I swear I will play it at the break and submit all of us to it. And I'll do it, Bill. I'll do it. So go give it a listen and then get back to us. I know you have 2 earphones, so just play the music in one. But yeah, you got to hear this, man. Everybody needs to experience this once in their life. Jeff, if you haven't heard it, you know what? You're about to. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, what else we got, Bill, before I can get to the box? Because I got a cool box story I got to get to.
So, Political, okay, the first ones to use a flip phone. Yep.
Yes.
Siggy a fan chiming in, iPads on the next gen.
Yep. Next.
And, okay, Siggy a fan, give it Hal's voice.
You know what? I can't do Hal's voice, man. It's too creepy, bro. It is just too creepy. I saw that movie when I was young. I mean, I saw it a long, long time ago when I was young. And you guys remember how things that you experience when you're that age somehow stick with you much, much longer than they probably should? Hal's voice is one of those. That's it. What are you doing, Dave? I could do a good Hal, too, by the way. What are you doing, Dave? This is highly irregular. No, man, I ain't gonna give it Hal's voice. I do. I want the English bar wench. I do. I just want that. I hello, governor. That's what I want to hear. I want that thing to just be shrill and make my spine vibrate when it goes up. So that's what's going to be happening on my. All right, Belle. Any more, or can I get to the box? Because the box has got to be.
You can get to the box.
Okay. So what I found in my box, and the reason that my box, I know how that sounds. You guys are just filthy minded people. So what I found in my box, and why we're doing the show tonight, was when I got to the very, very bottom of it, because apparently I do pack by weight, heavier stuff, delicates, all that other good stuff. But when I got down to the very bottom of it, I saw a white console. That's the easiest way to describe it. And what it was a TRS-80 Model 2 color computer that was purchased for me when I was approximately 12 years old from Radio Shack. A TRS-80 Model 2 color computer that was 16K of memory. By the way, that was hot. That was leagues above everything else that we had. It was twice what we had up till now, which was only 8K. But it had 16K of memory. And the computer is in there. The computer is in there. The tape deck was in there because we didn't have, that was the only way that we had, aside from just before that, it went from punch cards, like reel to reel, to cassette tapes. And that was how we actually saved data, was onto cassette tapes. And interestingly, that technology led to the modem, which we'll get to. But inside that was that computer, the power supply, the cord for me to hook it up to a console, because these don't have monitors. They didn't come with monitors. You had to plug it into the TV because monitors weren't really a thing back then. So I have everything I need, and the cassette tape, and the cassette player, and cassette tapes. So I still have cassette tapes of programs that I wrote when I was 12 years old, because that's how we saved them. So I am really, really eager to see if anything actually exists on this, or if the tapes survived. That would have been what? A little over 40 years in the box. If those tapes actually survived, if they're going to turn to dust as soon as I go in here and hit play, because you have to prompt the computer to get ready to receive, and then you hit play. And then it's going to kick the data off from the cassette tape, and it's going to send it onto the computer, and there you go. Because when you flip on a TRS-80 Model 2 color, the only thing you get is a black screen and a blinking cursor in the upper left. That's it. There's no operating system. They didn't exist back then. All it was a blinking cursor, and figure it out. Because you couldn't go to the internet to learn how to program, because there was no fucking internet. You had to know something before you actually bought this thing. This was the beginning, the very beginning of personal computers that have swept the planet to the point where I would be amazingly distrustful of anybody who says, I haven't used a computer. I would be amazingly distrustful of anybody who said that, because I don't understand how you could live even any semblance of a modern life without a PC. But there was 3 games that I personally wrote that were on that computer. Now, the language we used at the time was called BASIC, because that's all we had. There was nothing else. BASIC. And this computer, TRS-80 Model 2 color, you can Google it. You can take a look. Belle, are you Googling it right now? Or are you pulling it up to see what I'm looking at here? TRS-80 Model 2 color. It understood BASIC. And my default was always 5 space CLS. And that was me writing a program and telling the computer that the very first thing we're going to do is clear the screen before we do anything else. So it doesn't matter if my code's all up and down it. There's no organization. Mouses didn't exist. There was no shit like that. All you had was a great big wall of code. So when you actually get back, go to your prompt, tell it to run, and hit it, you want the very first thing it does to clear the screen, wipe everything off there, and then you get to see whatever it was that you created. Now, the very first game I made was a Hangman game. But here was the bitch about the Hangman game. I had to manually type words in. So I created a random generator for it to pick a word somewhere out of this subroutine that's what it's going to be, and then you go ahead and play the Hangman game. But I couldn't just I couldn't just scrape the internet for words. I had to know the words. I had to spell the words right. I had to sit there with an encyclopedia. And for those of you who don't know, Braden, these used to be a thing, and most houses back in the day had a set of encyclopedias. That's how we look stuff up, because smartphones didn't exist. Internet didn't exist. Libraries or your Encyclopedia Britannica set. That was it. That's what you had. So I had to go through the encyclopedia and open up like A and say, okay, aardvark, that's the first word that we put in, and just keep going up and down the list till this subroutine was so big that it filled up all 16K, and then the game wouldn't run. So I had to scrub out a whole shitload of words because I only got 16K of memory to work with. That game is still on there, and I'm really, really, really eager to plug this bitch in, see if I can work out a way. It won't plug into a modern television. There's no jack that I can plug it into, but I think I could probably find an old console TV somewhere. If I go and hit up really old pawn shops, maybe eBay, I could pay $30 for the TV and $400 for shipping because it's a console TV. It's with this whopping big 13-inch screen, but the thing weighs 65 pounds. It's like shipping an anvil, but you got to do what you got to do. So, yeah, I think I could find a console TV that I could actually plug this thing into. I'm curious. I might even film it all for YouTube. I just think that it would be funny. So that right there got me thinking about where we are from where we were. And I've kind of been in tech pretty much my entire life, and it was a lot of fun seeing this thing going on. Now, where I said you have to set the tape player, and when you go to save, you have to hit play and record on the cassette tape. Belle, do you remember cassette tapes? Do you remember cassette tape players?
I do.
You had to hit the play button and then the record button, because you can't hit the record button first. You have to hit the play button and record at the same time. These are buttons, Braden. It's not, you don't click it with the mouse. You have to physically reach over there and hit play and record. And then you dump the data onto the tape. And next to the tape, on the tape deck, was a little 3-digit thing that had numbers on it. That says feet of tape, so that you know where to go on this cassette tape so that you can find the data you're looking for. Say this one, I started it at foot 138 and the data ran to 184. So after it was fully up and downloaded, you stop, you take the tape out, and you write on the label. That's what those little labels on them were for. You write on the label what it is, the feet that it starts at, and where it ended. It's almost like an old piece of test equipment that we used to use called a time domain reflectometer. I don't think anybody out here is going to know what that is, with maybe the exception of Political, who might know what a time domain reflectometer is, a TDR. But that was kind of what we were simulating with that. So that's what it is. And I pulled out this tape, and there's 3 games on here. This is what makes it interesting, Belle. All right, this is what makes it interesting. One of those games I know for a fact is Hangman. It was the original Hangman that I wrote, that I ended up turning in my 8th grade programming class. I got an A on it, by the way. The second one was called Ruins of, I got to look at the tape again. I can barely read it. It's like Ruins of Riverdale or Riverdin or River of something. And what this one was a text base, kind of like Oregon Trail with no graphics. All you did was read and make your selection. North, south, east, west, pick up shovel, find key, nail prostitute, whatever it is. But that was that game, and it was those were actually really, really easy games to program. Very lot into them, but it was mostly just simple if-then. That's it. That's the basic. If this is selected, then this occurs. So those words were kind of fun. But the third one was called, you ready for this? I shit you not, I'll show you the tape. The third one was called Tesla. The third game I created was a game called Tesla, Tesla. And I'm pretty sure I remember what this is, but I won't know until I fire it up. Now, the reason that I find that ironical is because this would have been in how old was I? 12. So this would have been in 1983. I wrote a game called Tesla for a TSR 80 Model 2 color computer that is sitting on a 42-year-old cassette tape. And I am intrigued to know what that is. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure it's just something silly. I was fucking around playing with graphics or something like that. But it is called Tesla, and I just found it today. And it's just funny to me how shit comes around like that. That's it. You got anything you want to add on this, Bell, or are you just going to let me babble on here? Because I will do it. I will keep babbling. I haven't even started yet.
Yeah, okay. The first computer that was ever, and actually the only PC that was in my household, and this was, God, 96, 97,
Yeah.
was a Tandy 1000.
You know what? Even though Pentiums were starting to come out during that time, I think, the Tandy 1000 wasn't a terrible machine. Oh, I dropped my camera there. God damn it. Wasn't a terrible machine. It did it. I mean, it did get it done. Look at mine, the TRS-80 Model 2 color, 16K. The Commodore 64 was 4 times more powerful than that TRS-80 Model 2. So there's nothing wrong with the Tandy. What'd you do with the Tandy, Bell? What'd you do with it?
Oh, my parents kept it and got rid of it.
So you never actually used it? What did you use it for? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, see, I tried because the whole reason for that computer was, okay, I'm entering high school.
Okay.
And we've got papers we've got to write. They want them all typed out and printed off. That's what I was trying to do with it. It didn't work that way.
Oh, you didn't know? I was going to say, you just didn't know how to do it, Bell. The Tandy 1000 wasn't a bad box. It wasn't terrible. You can play some games on that. And let's be real here. Computers, back in the day, the very first time I touched one, I was 11 years old. I said, I want to make games with it. We have a 21-year-old developer on our team. And if I ask him right now, as a matter of fact, I am, type it in chat. What is the very first thing that you program? What's the very first thing that has you passionate? Why do you keep picking up, logging in, getting on your computer and programming? And I know he's a barebacker. He won't embrace the vibe coding thing. You got to embrace vibe coding, dude. Just stop. Give it up. Stop. All right, I'm going to help you. But I think anything I asked him to show me, what are they, Bell? What is he? What does he show me? What is his passion projects? Games, right?
Well, the first project he ever showed you was indeed his game that he's developing.
Everybody picks them up and we build games with them. All right, that's what they were for. Modern computers are for games and porn, at least the modern internet. And I can back that up. I can justify that. I can 100% justify that. But the thing that made it interesting about it is because I was thinking about one game cartridge I bought. I was able to buy it. It was $45. $45 for this game cartridge. And this was back in 1983. And I had to buy it from Radio Shack. It was a place where we went, Braden. We went to Radio Shack. We could check our fuses. Remember the fuse testers? Who remembers vacuum tube testers? That's nostalgic bit right there. You plugged it in, you put in a quarter, you hit the button, and the goddamn thing will tell you if that tube is blown or not. That was great. And you were in a store where if it was blown, you could get a replacement for a tube that big, vacuum tubes. But I bought it. I don't remember the name of it, but this was actually, I think, in my personal experience, my personal opinion, the first real video game that I ever played because it was graphically driven. Now, it was not graphics the way that you would say they're graphics or the way that I would say they're graphics. Imagine a game like Dune, but you can't hold the button down and move forward. You have to type, move M space F, enter. M space F, enter, and you take one step and take all of the color out of it because we didn't have color back then. Even though it was a color, and this particular game had 0 colors. It was dark and blue lines. That was it. And It was kind of a dungeon quest game, but everything that you had to do, you had to, move forward, turn left, enter, turn left. And you would hold a weapon in your right hand and something else in your left. So when you came up to a critter, you would have to A space R. That's attack with your right hand. And you had to do that as fast as you can. I got like a ninja on that. A space R, enter, A space R, A space R, A space. So I could attack as fast as I can to kind of kill the bad guys. And then shit would fall on the floor. And then you would have to inspect, pile, and then it would tell you what's in there, and you'd have to say grab flask, grab weapon, grab armor. That was it. That was the game. But that was my very first introduction to an actual graphical game. Now I'm curious if anybody could fill this in for me. $45 back in 1983. What is the dollar equivalent of that today? That's what I'm kind of curious about, because even back then we used to mow lawns for $5. That's all we could get, and we would do it for $3. So back then, when I was that age, I would mow lawns for $5, but I would take $3 if they were cheap pricks. So I would have to mow 9 to 15 yards to buy a game cartridge like that. So I'm kind of curious how much they cost now, or what that $45 equivalent is, and I'm sure somebody out there in the audience will look it up for me. But that actually the technology was interesting, and it's fun the way that we all leapfrog off from every development leads to further development and forks and all that other good stuff, because the same technology. And if you've ever heard a modem sound, Bell, if you heard a modem sound, you know what that sounds like?
Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing. You remember that? Yeah.
Yep.
When you're saving your data onto a cassette tape, that's what you hear. That is exactly what you hear. So we were using modulate, demodulate to put, that's what modem stands for, Braden, in case you didn't know. These used to be really, really important to us. They were called modems, modulate, demodulate. That's what we did, is we wrapped the intelligence, we wrapped it in a carrier signal, and we dropped it onto like a cassette tape or something like that. But that actually led to the advent of the modem. Now, before the modems came out, this is where it kind of got fun, because this was effectively before internet, before bulletin boards. Who out here remembers bulletin boards? Bell, don't raise your hand, because you've read about them, but you were never on one. I cannot imagine a world in which you were actually on a bulletin board, but you can prove me wrong after this. But what we were able to do were make cables that would connect one computer to another computer. And that was the original multiplayer gaming. Was we would physically bring boxes together and plug them in. We could only make 2 boxes go together. At least that's the only thing I could figure out. So me and my buddy Pickle, his name was Anthony Pickthall. We just called him Pickle. I'm sure you can figure out why. But we would plug our computers together so that we could game against each other. And this is after something called Castle Wolfenstein came out. Now, this was the founding of the greatest gaming feast that has ever seen this planet. The very first one was Wolfenstein 3D. That was the very first one. And it's interesting to me, Bell, because this was basically just a graphical and more responsive version of that game that I played, where I had to move forward, attack right, turn left, work through the halls. Now we can do it with a keyboard and a mouse. So it's funny how that original idea led to Wolfenstein, which led to Doom, which led to everything. It was the same idea. But back then, if you plugged 2 computers together, if you had the cable, and I was in the Navy at the time, so I had access to lots of cables and plugs, everything I need, Jeff. So I just built it in the shop and walked it home, and we plugged it in, and we could shoot against each other. That had never happened before. That was a brand new thing for all of us, Bell, is me out there hunting Pickle and Pickle out here hunting me. And one of the funny ones, it wasn't Doom, even though we played that, but Doom is over so quick. You know, when you finally, the BFG, the big fucking gun, as soon as you take a BFG plasma bolt, that's it. And then you respawn and then you try to work it out. But there was another one, and this one was wizards. You were kind of like wizards hunting each other. and different kinds of spells, different things. And one of the fun ones is when you hit them and you turn them into a chicken. So it's a polymorph spell that turns the opponent into the chicken, and then the chicken just has to run off because you have to wait for the spell to wear off. And we're running behind them, shooting bolts at them and lightning bolts and all this other shit, trying to blow up the chicken. But all the chicken can do is lay eggs. So the chicken would lay eggs behind it, and those are like barriers that you had to weave around. So even the chicken got a little bit of defense on that. But yeah, that's it. That's what we had, and that brought us up to America Online. And I'll talk about that in a second, unless Belle has something she wants to add or has any questions or comments from the audience.
Okay, so Deep House Nation, I remember Radio Shack. They sold Tandy computers.
They did sell Tandy computers. In fact, I think they were about the, correct me if I'm wrong here, bro. It's been a while, but they were about the only game in town. But I remember back then, people our age, we went to Radio Shack for computers. And that's where you found the Commodore. That's when you found the Tandy. And you saw those things sitting next to each other, and you got to like host around. And we're sitting here debating which 64K system is better. The same way kids now will debate whatever, Xbox 4 or PS4, the way that they'll sit there and pro and con it. We were doing it with like Tandy or the Commodores or whatever else, kind of came out of there, TRS, or the Trash 80s or all that stuff. Yeah, we used to hang around there and debate it. It was interesting. But you could get your fuses checked, Belle. I don't think, I can't soft sell this, Belle. I don't think you understand how important that was. We fixed shit back then. We didn't replace it. We didn't replace the television because it was too goddamn heavy to move. That's all it was.
Well,
These big, you guys remember those big console televisions? That most of it is just wood and weight, and they were too heavy to move. So when something went wrong, you pulled all the fuses, vacuum tubes out of the back. You went to Radio Shack, and you found out which one was fucked up. That's what we had to do. Anyway, carry on, Belle.
All right, so Political, I heard those old systems would make your hair fall out.
Oh, okay, I get your joke. Jeff, this is a choice, Jeff. I got my hair. I just prefer to shave my head. Do they? I don't know. They make you impotent. When Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have put that one out there. No, I'm sure it's fine. Go ahead, carry on.
All right, so Deep House Nation. I wish most houses had encyclopedias. We had to go to the library.
Oh,
Same year.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay, go ahead. No.
My first video console was Odyssey. It was space age to us back then.
I do remember the Odyssey. But the Odyssey was a pure gaming console, if I remember right. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was a pure gaming console. See, we had the Atari 2600. Before that, over at my grandma's house, they had this. It was just like a box bell, and it had two little twisty knobs on it. And, yeah, and it had like 4 or 5 different games on it. So you plugged it into the TV, you flipped it on, and you chose between which version of Pong you wanted to play. But we would lose hours and hours and hours playing Pong. But it went from there to the Atari 2600, and we were the first kids on the block to get an Atari 2600. And we got it with both Pac-Man and Asteroids. All right. And so we were the cool hip kids on the block. And I remember mowing lawns to buy Pitfall and Missile Command and Space Invaders and Atari Pinball. That was my jam, by the way, Belle. I found out a glitch where the ball will never go down. So yeah, I was the king on that. But there was another little console game that came out. It did not have the same level of popularity, called Intellivision. Who remembers Intellivision? Now, that, if I could actually find an Intellivision console, I would probably buy it, just because there was one game on there called Combat that I would love to play again. The Intellivision console was a little bit different. The Atari console was a single joystick with a single red button. I'm sure you remember that. I'm sure even Belle does. But the Intellivision was a little bit different because it had a longer console with a paddle up here. There were 2 buttons on the sides and keypad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. It actually had a keypad on it. So when you played the game console or you played the game combat, there were a lot of different things you could do with that tank that made it interesting. So I would literally buy it if I could find one that functioned and I could find a console to plug it into and play it, just because I am that nostalgic, and I only played it once. So who remembers Intellivision? Intellivision, if I'm correct, came out approximately the same time that the Atari came out. And I don't even know who made Intellivision. It might have been Coleco. They were a thing back then. So I don't know. Anyway, carry on, Belle.
All right, Sofa Ninja. Did anyone else have a big console TV that crapped out and then you bought a replacement TV and put it on top of it? Yeah.
I bet you did, Belle.
That happened.
You know what's...
My parents were cheap, and they didn't throw any. They were also hoarders, so they didn't throw anything away.
You know what's funny about that? Have you seen the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Belle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You remember when Brad Pitt went to Spawn Movie Ranch, and he was going in there to make sure that what's his name was still okay. And when he walked in there was a giant broken console television on the floor of that filthy, filthy living room with a smaller TV sitting on top of it. So there you go. I'll give you some applause for that. Obviously, this has occurred, because for Christ's sakes, it was pretty well highlighted in there. Did we ever go through that? I'm trying to think. Did we ever go through anything like that? I don't recall us doing that. I remember a lot of aluminum foil on the rabbit ears. I do remember that. Show of hands, who put aluminum foil on the rabbit ears, because you seem to think that would get you a better signal when it had there you go. There's at least one. I remember that. I remember doing that stuff. And me and my brother trying to get creative with aluminum foil, tying it up and running it across the room and shit like that. It didn't do anything, but it made us feel better. So that's a very nice sketch. Belle.
I had to climb onto the roof more than once and adjust the outdoor TV antenna, and then followed that up by adjusting the rabbit ears.
I said, but you know what, Belle? I just looked at the time. Has it been 42 goddamn minutes? No shit. I had no idea the time. I know we don't really pack the room anymore, guys, but I don't know if you can tell, but I enjoy talking about stuff like this. We can lighten up from time to time. Belle's going to read one question she can answer. I got one more song to queue up. This is one of these is going to be the new podcast theme song. And I would love your opinion on that. You heard the first one on when we came in, and we'll play the second one now, but I got to queue it up. And Belle's going to go ahead and read a question that she can answer herself. Go, Belle.
And Political. And we as kids were the first remote control and automatic antenna adjusters. Yup. The bad part about that is that Political, I was made to go up on the roof, and I am terrified of heights.
Oh my God. I got to bring one out here. I got to throw one little caveat on that. My grandmother, who lived in Prescott, Arizona, had one of those big, massive console televisions. But this one was cool because if you lifted that big ass heavy walnut drawer over on the right-hand side, there was a radio in there. There was a radio. And you could actually listen. So it was a television radio combo that would play over those big ass speakers. So that was cool. But that one actually physically had a remote control. It was connected with a cable. So this giant box, this thing was like this big, that had two buttons, one for left or up and one for down. And when you hold down the button, the channel selector would physically start going through it, as if we needed that, because for fuck's sake, we only had 3 channels. I mean, how Grandma, I can get up, and she loved that thing, man. And then you get to the new channel.
See, my grandpa, the TV at their house was definitely old school. It was a tube style, and it had the pair of dials on the front. Well, if my grandpa, wanted to make a game, if he wanted to play a game, well, he would give us a number, And the first kid to run up to the TV and turn the top dial to that number would get a treat out of his pocket. Yeah, I mean, he made a game out of it, but yeah, parents on the other hand, not great.
What kind of butterscotch hard candies did he keep in his pocket? Because that's what old people keep: peppermints or butterscotches.
It was peppermint.
Ah, look at there. I'm taking a round of applause for myself. I know. You know how I know, Belle? Because I keep peppermints in my pocket. Because I am the age of your grandfather now, and I keep peppermints in my pocket, so I can speak on that with authority.
Yeah, you're nowhere near the age he was.
I'm
sorry.
I'm probably close. That's funny. You know, he looked much older to you when you were 9. All right, when you were 9 years old, he looked much older. But odds are good, he was in his mid-50s. So I'm in my mid-50s. So there we go.
No, he was in his mid-70s.
Oh, okay. I don't believe. And he was just your grandfather, not your great-grandfather?
Yeah.
Wow.
My mother was the youngest of 11.
Oh, my God. One of those families. All right. Tennessee. I forgive me. All right, guys. Here's the second song. One of these is going to become the official podcast theme song. So you're going to have to listen to it over and over and over. You decide. This one, Belle and I have been out here doing this, the podcast, not the political side, but the dark side of the podcast here. We've been doing this 8 years this year. So I drummed up some hip hop songs because I thought it was fun. And you guys are going to have to listen to one of these over and over and over, so you go ahead and make the decision. Track 2, this one is called 8 Years, has been coming your way right here on the podcast on the KPOD network. Love your vote. See you guys in just a moment.
8 years in the game. 8 years in the game. 8 years deep, multi-cam gleam, studio supreme, crypto on the screen, still chasing the dream. 10 viewers strong, but we built it from dust. Every live stream a brick, every mic a trust. Like guitar crying, like the market in red, but we never sold out, never bowed our head. 8 years in the game. They said quit at 100, quit at 1,000, but the podcast rise when the hour goes down. 8 years grinding, still live on the feed. 10 hearts in the chat, but 1 million in needs. Like guitar wailing, turntable spin truth. We built this empire from a bedroom booth. Crypto never sleeps, neither do we. The podcast forever, watch history breathe. Green screen, Cosmos, LED glow in the dark. Every bear market spark, turn the flame to a mark. From Bitcoin, having them a meme coin crash. We break it down live, no filter, no mask. Slide solo ripping like a ripple in reverse. Turntable cut sharp, every scratch a new verse. Average views, not at just the gate. Loyal 10 gon' turn to 1 million, just wait. Studio lights burn like our will in the fight. 8 years and nights, now we own the mic. 8 years grinding, still live on the feed. 10 hearts in the chat, but 1 million in needs. Slide guitar wailing, turntable spin truth. We built this empire from a bedroom booth. Crypto never sleeps, neither do we. The podcast forever, watch history breathe. 8 years in the game. 8 years. And we still here. 10 viewers today, tomorrow 1 million cheer. The podcast never folds. 8 years, 8 years in the game. Shh.
8
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kids, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you. I was, shit, I kind of derailed myself right there. I had something. I knew how I was going to wrap this up, but I didn't get there. I got through about 10% of what I actually wanted to talk about. So tomorrow we're going to continue our tech journey. I haven't even gotten a BlackBerry or original cell phones. Flip phones, Belle. Do you remember flip phones? Do you remember flip phones? She barely remembers flip phones. She's a baby still.
Hey, that was like the only phone I could afford when I was 14.
You know what I always wanted, and I'm going to go out searching for it because eBay is still a thing, and I guarantee I can find one. A movie came out in the 90s, and it was called The Matrix. Belle, you ever see The Matrix? And you remember that? You remember that phone that he popped it, and he hit the button, and it popped up? I want one. All right? I fucking want one because I have a very, very special app on my phone, and it's called Phone. And what I do is I hit the little green button that looks like it has a phone receiver on it, and it calls people. So I use my phone as a phone. It's pretty cool. I am that old, Braden. All right. I use my phone as a phone, but I want that. I just want to pull it out one time on the stream and get a call and hit it and say, yes, this is Neo. I'm dying to do that. I want to live that dream.
And I mean, with those flip phones, yes, you could text, but pagers were a lot more common. If you wanted to send a text, it took forever.
Oh, yeah. She had to scroll through each and every character to get up there.
Yep.
I mean, that's it. And that was alphabet, digits, and special characters. You had to scroll through all of those stuff. Now, the thing that actually kind of changed that around was a Motorola pager. And Jeff, somewhere in your tech history, you carried a Motorola pager the same way that I did. And this thing was a box. It was about yay big, and you flipped the screen open, and inside of it was a QWERTY keyboard. And you use that to, say, I am on site for service call, whatever. I am on site. I've begun repairs. I've completed repairs. Service call is closed. Only service techs are going to get this, Belle. You're not going to get this, but service techs will. And I guarantee you, Jeff at some time carried a Motorola pager on his wallet, on his pocket. These things were huge. They were bulky. They were blocky. They were not terribly good, but that's what we had. So I still have my Motorola pager. It's sitting over there, and I will bring it on if we manage to go live tomorrow, but I will bring it on and show it to you guys so you can see what tech is. I will charge it up. You know what I'm curious about, Belle, is if this thing still works. That's what I'm curious about. Is this thing still live? Because there's no way Motorola is monitoring these things still. There's just no fucking way. People don't carry pagers, man. You can find the pagers next to the phone bank. And who remembers the phone bank? Who remembers that? The bank of phones? You guys remember that shit? It used to be a thing. Oh, God, I didn't even get into my tech stuff where I have to whip off the freeway. I'm going 80 miles an hour on the freeway, and I have to whip off to find a payphone so I can answer a page. Oh my God, man, there's so much we didn't get to. Anyway, Belle, please carry on.
All right. So you asked a question earlier about, okay, well, how much is $45 now?
Mm-hmm.
A couple of answers came in for that.
Yep.
The first one, and God, I have to find it again.
We got that much chat. Good for us. We've never had chat. I'm giving everybody out here a round of applause and a suck my balls while Belle finds that.
Lick my balls.
Yeah,
say that all the time.
Siggy fan actually said, okay, AI says $45 in 1983 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $146.37.
Oh my
God. Political, on the other hand, actually shot me a text saying $151. 235% increase since the 80s.
You know what? They're both right. All right. Either way, that's a lot of lawns. That's like 30 lawns I would have had to mow to buy that game. And you know what? I would do it again. I would do one. I need the exercise, but two, I would do it again because there is nothing will grab you like nostalgia. Nothing will pull you back like nostalgia. It was just a simpler time, man. I didn't have a job. I didn't have responsibilities. All I had was mow 9 more lawns, and I can buy this game. And I could plug this massive game cartridge into the side of my TRS-80 Model 2 color computer and slay monsters. There's nothing that will ever match that for me again. There's no game that's coming out now that I just can't wait to be a part of. It simply doesn't exist. That will never come back for me, ever. So, yeah. And I mean, I've had the Oculus. I played VR. It was fun for a couple days, and then I've never touched it since. I've had every gaming console known to man, and I don't even give a shit about gaming consoles anymore. It means nothing to me. And the online games that I play are games that came out 15 years ago. I don't even get into modern ones because I don't want to bother with having to learn these massive new convoluted systems that are offering more information or more features that I simply don't give a fuck about. I just want to shoot bad guys, man. Let's make this easy. Duck Hunt. All right, original Nintendo Duck Hunt. Belle, did you ever play Duck Hunt?
Yes,
Do you remember
I love that game.
That's what we were teaching our 8 and 9-year-old children is pistol mechanics, because for what it's worth, it was pretty damn accurate. Shooting the ducks, you got to lead them a little bit. You got to do all that stuff. That's what we were teaching her. Which modern gaming console comes with a pistol? All right, which one? Because the fucking Nintendo and Duck Hunt sure as hell did. It even had an upgrade for a shotgun. So you could put the pistol up here and it had the shotgun upgrade, so you're up there doing this shit. What gaming console has that now? We've gone soft. All right, as a species, we've gone soft. Bring back Duck Hunt. You know what? Braden, you little shit, build me Duck Hunt. All right, build me a Duck Hunt. I am pulling you off from what you're doing right now to build me a god. You know what? Oh, I'm only COO. I'm not CEO. Braden, in your downtime, build me a new Duck Hunt. All right, and I know you're gonna have to Google it and probably go to Wikipedia to even figure out what that is. It was a thing. All right, trust me, it was a thing. Belle, carry on, please.
All right, so Mackenzie chiming in on X, going, Vic 20? Ha ha!
Vic 20. Oh my God, dude. That is another one that's taken me way, way back. That was kind of the funny thing, because back in the day, we only had, we didn't have this complete Chinese dump of everything that was entering into the marketplace. So yeah, I do remember a Vic 20. I never touched one. It never, my hands never touched that keyboard. But yes, I do remember the name of the Vic 20. I don't know what made them special. I have no idea. This was everything that happened after that was like a quantum leap. Is just building on the tech, building on the tech, building on the tech until the fact that we get to AI. And I can vibe code a Duck Hunt game. Braden, I can vibe code a Nintendo Duck Hunt game effectively in Python. That will absolutely give me back the nostalgia that I'm looking for. So I know it's possible. Anyway, carry on, Belle.
All right, Political. We were poor. I got a Merlin.
Belle, do you got anything on that? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. What's a Merlin? Was this a computer? Was this a technology? I have no idea, Jeff. That's it. Well, Jeff's from, he's a Carolina boy. So, yeah, I have no idea, dude, what the hell that is. Maybe that's a regional thing. I don't know what a Merlin is. I'm sorry, man. Look, you stumped me. You stumped the host. So you get one of these.
Lick my balls. Yeah, say that all the time.
All right, so Political. Duck Hunt would have the dog that laughed at you when you missed. So I have heard.
Yes, and you know what? You can shoot the dog. You don't want to, but you can shoot the dog. They just provided the features, and we did what they opened the playground and said go for it. And so yes, you could shoot the dog. Don't shoot the dog, but you can shoot the dog. I'm just putting that out there for those of you who have never played Duck Hunt. I don't think you guys get what a thing this was, because it also had that shooting bad guys thing. where 5 targets would come out, and some of them would be bad guys and some of them would be good guys, and they'd only be visible for about 2 seconds. So you had to sit there with your pistol and whip it out and start shooting everything that you can, but don't shoot the hostages. That's all it was don't shoot the hostages.
Yeah.
And you always shoot the hostages. It always happens because you get so excited, because sometimes it would be 5 bad guys and sometimes it would be 4 hostages and 1 bad guy. You never knew. It was pure RNG. And you're so jazzed up right there. You're like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bam, 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 bam. Oh fuck! I shot 3 of them. And you shoot the hostages. You can't do that because it'd be a bad guy with a gun up to their head. We were very, very graphical back then, and it'd be a bad guy with a gun right up to her head, and you shoot her. And it's like fuck. You lose a heart. It's no big deal. You lost the heart. She lost her digital life, but you lost a heart. So yeah, I'm surprised more books haven't been written about stuff like that, Bill. I'm just thinking out loud here.
And Political is chiming in, is saying Merlin was a very basic handheld game. It was before the Game Boy was released.
Oh my God. You know what I had? I think it was Tandy. And correct me if I'm wrong here, because it could have been anybody. Tandy Football. And it was kind of cool because it was a little handheld thing. And it had 4 arrows and a left and right button. That's all it had. And the screen part was surrounded. It was kind of outlined to look like a stadium. And there were 4 red lights plus the quarterback light. And you had to figure it out, whether you pass, whether you run, whether you do whatever. But that was it. You were blip, 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 blip. It's like the shit that Groot was playing in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was like that. That's what it was, because that's all we had for handheld gaming. They advanced. We had things like little console things that came out that were like Asteroids and Pac-Man, because that's what Atari dominated that era. Absolutely dominated that era. So we had different kinds of ones, and Pac-Man was really cool, and Asteroid Space Invaders and stuff like that. But they would all only play one game. Those cheap pricks, they could have easily baked 4 or 5 different games into the same console, but they didn't want you to do that. They wanted you to buy all the consoles. So, yeah, I don't know about that one, Jeff, but I had the football one. I think it was Tandy. But I'm not sure. Anyway, carry on, Bill.
All right. So, Idiot Fish, I used to get mad at that dog. I used to get so into that game. Same here.
And you used to shoot the dog, Belle, didn't you? Used to shoot the dog. Go ahead, be honest. You could tell everybody.
If it was a bad day, yes, I shot the dog.
I never shot the dog. I did it once on accident, and I felt so bad about it that I never shot the dog again. So I like to think that I'm the better person right now. And you could tell because, look, I'm wearing pants with no holes in them. I'm wearing my boots. I'm wearing a newer T-shirt, and I'm not wearing a hat. So you know that I'm honest right now because I'm not wearing a hat. You guys make me feel bad about myself sometimes. Not really. I don't care. Go ahead, Bill.
That's actually it for now.
All right. Well, we did run the hour. I don't want to end this one, Bill. I really don't. I could go on and on about this. I haven't even gotten you to my America Online journey yet. I haven't even gotten you to my bulletin board systems. These are called BBSs. I haven't even gotten you to that journey. And the weirdest shit that ever happened to me in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. And it was with an Air Force officer on a BBS. That's why it got really, really interesting. And I didn't even get to tell that story, but maybe we could tell that one on the next stream whenever that happens to happen. So, guys, look, next week... I'm trying to think. Next week, we will not be live. That's okay. We've faded out as the home of information. So, but we will not be live next week. We are on the road again, selling Sigya. We've had a really big website update. I'm a little bit disappointed that we haven't gotten any feedback over on the podcast Discord feedback channel for the website update. We put a lot of new features in there. Mass sharing is in there. We have not been able to crack folders sharing as a single folder, and I don't believe that we're going to be able to do that, and let me tell you why. Every single file that goes up to the Sigya cloud has a very unique AES 256 encryption key assigned to that file. So we have not found a way to bundle all of these individually encrypted files into one individually encrypted wrapper. We just haven't figured out a way to do that yet. Not saying we won't. I'm just saying that we haven't yet. But if all of the files in the folder, if you were to open up said folder and you were to click the select all button and you were to select share and share it with an individual user, Bella and I just verified the functionality today because that just went in today. You can share as many files with an individual user as you want with a single click of a single button. And each and every single file, when you go and look at it, is going to have a new little icon sitting in the bottom right corner of it. This is telling you who you shared the file with. And if you highlight that, it will tell you if they've accepted it or not. What we've just done, Jeff, is removed the ability for people to say, I never received the file. I checked and it's not there. What we just did was give 100% accountability to file sharing from a corporate, from a legal, from an everything standpoint. And the reason that we did that, Bell, is why? It's for legal, because we know what markets we're trying to aggressively penetrate. And what we're looking for is plausible deniability. We've just removed that. There is no plausible deniability. The file was sent. Your name is on it. 100 validators verified that that file was shared with this account, and then that's it. So they can't possibly say, well, I checked and it wasn't there. No, you didn't check, because it was there. We've just cracked a really, really big legal and medical nut that we've been working on here. We're going to take over the world, man. You just give us a little bit of time and we're going to take over the entire world. So play around with it, horse around, give us some feedback. We would certainly appreciate it. We're still spending a lot of money on this, on development. That development never stops on a project like this. So please play around with it. Give us some feedback. Let me know. If you want every single song, that AI song that I happen to have on my computer, makes it real, real easy. Send me your Cygia Cloud ID and I will send them all to you. And they're all going to come at once. So get ready to hit accept. But anyway, that's all I got. Belle, if you could, please talk us up, take us out. Wonderful time. See you guys next time.
All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who joined this evening, we cannot say thank you guys enough. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys and the comments and questions you send our way. We may be on tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. But maybe is the operative word there. Yep. There is a thing I've got to take care of in the morning.
Yeah.
In between now and the next time we go live, if you guys have any other comments, questions, or concerns, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to either Scott or myself, Scott@thepodcast.com or Bella@thepodcast.com, and we'll get those answered for you. Again, we can't thank you enough, guys, and we'll see you next time.